Hello Playdate, this is Don.
This is Nick.
And I'm Ryan.
This week we are covering Playdate news,
Recent indie releases,
and exploring all our feelings on this golden anniversary, Valentine's Day 50th episode of the Hello Playdate Podcast. You guys, are you ready to do the same thing we always do?
Thanks for listening. Let's get started. Yeah, of course. We're coordinating
like
all of
that
our
complete,
anniversaries together.
Segue. Just ignore Ryan as usual. Like
We
I said,
just
we're
talked
doing what
about
we
not
usually
being
do.
robotic, so now we're had to up the roboticness.
All right. Bringing people into that pre-recorded conversation. Sounds good. So that means we're at our boop corrections portion of the episode. Hey, we've got some today, as usual. Like I said, we're doing things like we usually do. Don, you want to start us off here?
Sure. Some corrections from our last episode. We reviewed Direct Drive, and this is from the dev, Chris Mandra, from DAC Vector Direct Drive. Wanted to thank us for the in-depth review, but he had a couple notes. The whole dev team is just him and Dmitry Zukov.
Zukov.
Ah, nice. He made the storyboards. Excuse me. Chris made the storyboards and wrote the text. They paid pixel artists to turn out visual ideas, and what we have visually is the game. Chris himself wrote, performed, recorded, and produced, and mixed all the music. The PSA song that I said sounded a little rough is because the singer on that track passed away in 2020. So they only had scratch tracks for the songs there, which are rough versions. And there is a little tribute in the game to the singer. His name is Sweets, and on the website. So there'll be a link in the show notes to the website if you want to see a picture of him and learn a little bit more about him.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Also, he says if you don't use headphones, you're literally only getting half the game. So I've only played halfway through Direct Drive. I need to go back.
Didn't we all complete it?
I completed the story, but not with headphones. So Ryan, I've only got half the game.
Only played half the game then. All right.
Yes.
Now I'm with you.
Nick played.
Thanks for catching me up.
Yes. And the managers we were complaining about, they knock on the door and they ask for a hot dog or whatever. He said they are supposed to be bugging you in the control room. That's why they're knocking on the window. So that's just a little quirk of the game. So anyway, thanks for the love and attention. Yeah, he didn't mean to sound critical in his notes, but I didn't think they sounded critical. They were very helpful, and I really appreciate Chris chiming in and straightening us out. So thank you so much.
I think all that was
context is always appreciated.
Yeah, I think all that was really fair. And Chris wrote back with some very kind words after that. We don't need to say all that and toot our own horn here, but thank you, Chris, for writing to us 2 times. I mean, once was plenty, but the second time was also very nice as well. So thank you for doing that and leading us right into boop our news and notes for today. Don, do you want to do this? You want me to do this?
You can do it. You can do it, Ryan. You're the newsman here.
Okay.
Sort of.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Mostly, yeah.
All right. Well, here we go then. Hey, guess what, everybody? You can go buy a Playdate right now. They have shipped over 70,000 Playdates. They are all caught up on pre-orders, and they're shipping to not only new customers straight away, like you make an order and they send it out in a day or 3, but they're also shipping to a bunch more countries. You ready to hear them? Here they come anyway. Bulgaria, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Hong Kong, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Malta, New Zealand, Norway, Romania, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, and South Korea. Don didn't want me to say that, believe it or not, but there they all are anyway.
Those are just the new ones. If you look at the supported countries on the Playdate help site, there's like 30 or 40 countries on there.
Jiminy Christmas. Good job, Panic. Way to expand that shipping area.
Indeed. Very exciting. I know that was a big complaint in the early days of Playdate was they weren't able to ship to many countries. So they're hopping hurdles left and right.
Totally. I mean, probably a good idea because it took them a while to catch up on all those pre-orders, but now it sounds like they're growing at a reasonable pace. I don't know. Seems like they're doing stuff right over there at Panic. Good job, guys.
Did you guys know it was at 70,000?
It's 70,000. I did not know that until hopping over to Blue Sky and checking out the recent news.
We're
Did
gonna have to
you?
drop a Blue Sky link in here. No, I didn't realize it was that high. I thought it was
Yeah,
gonna say, I don't know, 58,000 or something like that, but that's cool.
pretty
That's great.
amazing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what is it? Has it been 2 years yet?
2 years in April. So coming up.
So not quite. Hey,
Very
35K a
nice.
year and not too shabby.
hmm I have a note here that OOM or I'm not sure how to say it, and Bullfrog are both coming February 20th to catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Those have been on the wish list feature of the Playdate app for many, many, many months, but they will soon be on the purchase feature of the Playdate store very soon. So I'm looking. I saw Playdate or I saw Bullfrog the other day when I was just like looking at catalog, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is out, and I clicked to go purchase it, and it said coming soon. So really looking
Way
forward to them.
cool.
Yes.
Way cool. Not to lessen Pole Frog, but I just did a little bit of maths because I was real curious about this whole 70,000 number. That averages out to, roughly like 35,000 a year. That's about 3,000 playdates a month. That's about 100 playdates a day that are not only manufactured but being shipped and received to people. That's an amazing number. And it's probably even more than that
Mhm.
per day because I'm guessing they're not working on weekends. So yeah, that's bonkers. Wow.
And the logistical challenges of shipping to their existing footprint. Not to mention this new, much larger footprint. So,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, do
very
you need me to
impressive.
say all those countries over again to drive this
Not
point home?
you. I don't
Okay.
think. No.
I
Too much
could.
editing.
All right.
Lots of footprints
Whatever.
though.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, jumping into a new bitty news and note, possibly Axolotl is hosting Play Jam 5. Jamming again for the fifth time. This time it's happening from yesterday or the day before, depending upon when you're listening to this, because I know you listen to it immediately when we release it, February 12th to February 22nd, 2024. So we're in the midst of Play Jam 5. You'll be hearing us talk a little bit more about those yams next episode, but man, good luck to everyone yamming over there.
All
That's
those
it.
yams.
Play yams.
All right. And finally, you'll hear a little bit more about it in a minute, but I didn't want to forget to add the link to the trailer for Kitty Pig for Playdate.
What
Came
now?
out Kitty Pig. It came out this week, but it had a pretty interesting trailer. So I'll drop a link in the show notes. We'll talk about it here in the indie inventory very, very
Oh,
soon.
okay.
But the other day it had 4 views. It's now up to 75 views. So it's going viral, guys. Gotta check out the trailer soon.
Well, I just clicked on it, so it's going to have 76 here in a minute.
See? It's already we're blowing up.
Viral.
Viral. All right. Ryan, you're sleeping on the boops, man. All right, moving on. Indie inventory.
Man, I was too busy watching Kitty Pig. I'm sorry. Don, can you boop us into the next episode or segment?
Sure, boop. Indie inventory. Don't forget to rate
More
and
than I
review.
usually get.
Rate and review 10 stars only. All the games that you have played on the indie inventory or on itch. We have a lot of games today, and
Don,
I wanted
this
to.
is a lot of games.
It is a lot of games, and I was like, oh, which ones can I cut? But I kind of didn't want to cut any of them. A lot of these are Nick games, and I felt bad not
Ooh.
informing Nick, or they look Nick gamey, or they looked kind of bad, but when I played them, they were really fun, and so the images were deceiving, the thumbnails were deceiving. Okay,
Wait.
the first one.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You said they look Nick gamey. Does that mean they
Nick
have
games look
a
bad,
strong flavor and smell? And
Not that kind of gamey,
okay.
not new mommy type of thing.
Making sure.
The first game I had a dream about last night. I dreamed that we recorded the show and I forgot to mention it again.
Mhm.
Like a jerk. This game came out several months ago and I forgot to mention it, or maybe I thought it was something else and just was like, it's not a game. But Pixel Sketch, PXL Sketch for Playdate by Pixelbots. This came out, about 2 months ago. But basically, it's a little pixel drawing app, but it has a lot more to it. It's very easy to draw. I drew my first little pixel dude in it a couple of weeks ago, like a month ago. It's got a lot of features, very easy to use. But then I don't really see the features on here, but basically you can share. Oh yeah, share and daily pixel battle challenges. Every day a new prompt to tackle. Then you can share your creations with these different hashtags and let other pixel sketchers shower you with accolades. So it's kind of cool that they are tying it into sort of a hashtag thing.
Oh my God.
So it's easy to spot.
Think I need to buy this. This looks amazing. I had no idea this was even a thing, Don. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm looking at it now. The pixel art looks amazing. I love that you can choose not only between black and white pixels, but also various shades of tones with the very tiny pixels that Playdate has to offer. This looks incredible. And I love the community aspect they're trying to build into this with the daily challenges. And oh my God. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about mixed up. This is a Ryan thing right here.
This one's a Ryan thing.
I don't think I've ever heard a more Ryan game than Pixel Sketch.
Possibly.
Well, be prepared in another 6 weeks to play Pixel. No, we'll see. Anyway, this looks incredible.
Speaking of
my gosh,
weeks,
shake to. I'm sorry. It says shake to erase, as though you have a pixel etch a sketch. Oh, nice. Beautiful.
Don't sneeze.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. This okay. I'm buying it immediately.
Oh, Ryan. What? Before you,
what?
I mean, go ahead and buy it. But also, 2 weeks from today, it's coming to catalog.
What? Wait, what's coming to catalog?
Pixel Sketch. 2 weeks from today. Yeah, so we're allowed to announce that Pixel Sketch will be arriving on catalog in 2 weeks.
Hey, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm buying it anyway.
And this is not a dream. I'm saying this in reality. So I did not miss it.
Is this the rumor mill, Don? Where did you hear this?
The dev himself told me. Well, the dev contacted and was like, "Hey, remember how you didn't talk about this ever on your podcast?" And I felt, oh yeah, I have played this game. Why did I not talk about it? So one of the many games I've played and not talked about.
You only have artist professor on your podcast, so I can see why you would not.
That's why I skipped
mention it. Okay, fantastic.
But
thank you for mentioning it now. I'm
boop reprisal. So.
To be fair, I definitely would have mentioned it in 2 weeks during the catalog thing. This is
I'm sure that makes the dev feel better.
Well, anyway, that's right. Pixel Sketch, $2.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what both you, Don, and you, Ryan, create with this thing.
I will find my image that I made and share it with on the Discord.
Oh, please. I would love that.
Yeah.
Yes. No popcorn hands. Next up by Thumb Grooves is Kitty Pig. This one, you're a pig and you're bouncing a kitty very high in the air. If you watch the trailer, it looks very chaotic. You're collecting butterflies, which I did not know until now that I am looking at the GIFs here. Because you're moving so fast, I couldn't really tell what I was collecting. But yeah, it's sort of like Doodle Jump without the platforms meets Burrito Bison. And I'm a big Burrito Bison fan, so I had to give this a shot. And we did get a review copy, but I would have picked this up. I like this type of game. It's $2. You can use the crank or just use the D-pad to move back and forth and just keep acting as a trampoline to bounce the cat up higher and higher and higher. So anyway, give it a shot.
Very cute. Yes. Looks fun. Am I the only one that these like up and down vertical jumper games remind me of Sheep Launcher? Did you guys ever play that on mobile? Sheep Launcher?
Every time we bring up Doodle Jump, you bring up Sheep Launcher.
Yeah, I do. I've never played Doodle Jump.
Never played Sheep
But that's
Launcher.
my point of vertical jumping reference.
It's a vertical jumper, yes.
Ice Climber, Ryan?
Have you heard of Sheep Launcher?
We're gonna have to dig into that one. Next up by I didn't have the pronunciation here. Was it Damos Games?
It's John Damos Games.
Yes. Reinforce Field. It's $250 right now, but it's on sale for it's on sale for less than $250. I cannot see the price. Oh, it's $187 right now, but it's usually $250. This one looks like Another World. If you remember that game.
Is it like Sheep Launcher?
It is nothing like Sheep Launcher. This one we did receive review copies for as well. Oh. This one is like that Facebook game where it's like paintball. So you go shoot. You can either choose to shoot, duck, or move from one box to the other. Have you guys played that Facebook game? in Facebook Messenger? No?
I think you and Ryan are both referencing games that I have no frame of reference for. So.
Okay. Well, basically, it's like a duel with a gun, and you either choose to shoot, duck, charge up your gun, or put up a force field. And that's it. And you and the AI both make those decisions. And
paper, scissors, stone with an extra choice.
Yes.
Is that kind of?
Okay. But the AI learns from the way you play, so it improves more and more and more the more you play.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And you can set it to train more quickly if you want. So I played maybe 10 rounds. I'm not very good, but we're somewhat matched. Like there are draws. So we've had a couple draws. I've won a couple times. I've lost a couple times. So I don't know. Maybe we're balanced. But anyway, it's really fun. It looks great.
Before we leave this title, I also want to mention that Demos Games has a Valentine's bundle happening right now. You can get this game and a previous pick of the week, Roboctales, all for $4. That's 33% off the usual price. No, even more, 38% off the usual price. Typically, you would pay $6.50 for all that, down to $4 for this Valentine's bundle. A steal at twice the price. Just want to make sure people know that in case they want to pick up the whole suite of Demos games.
And just below the sale here is another game, Snake Chris.
What now?
Another new game, Snake Chris. It's on our list here.
Oh, I thought you meant from Demos Games.
It's not from Demos. It's a couple places down. I got it right here. Click on that one because we're going to talk about it right now. This is a Ryan game. It's a serpentine adventure. So it's hard to tell what's going on from the screen caps, but there is a little video here. The idea is Snake, but there's just like a ton of power-ups constantly. So you're constantly eating apples, carrots, bombs, all sorts of stuff. And it's got a little wackiness to it. I want to say WarioWare because we always say WarioWare, but it does have that like kind of crazy Smash TV or cool Japanese game feel to it. But I've only played a few rounds because I just got it yesterday, but it's really fun. This one that we did not get a review copy of. I had to spend money on this one.
This does look like a Ryan game.
It's really fun.
I'm excited about this.
What it doesn't show you is that the screen automatically moves to the left. So you're moving the snake, but you don't have to worry about just being on one screen. More stuff is coming at you all the time. So it's a really fun gameplay. And the graphics are awesome. So anyway.
If folks are interested in checking this out, there is a little YouTube video link embedded into the itch page that shows you this leftward scrolling action happening in real time. This looks really fun. Don, can I just say again that I'm really thankful that you do put this section together because I would not know about most of these games if not for you. So thank you.
It's been a really good couple of weeks for the Playdate.
Yeah.
This one, just looking at screenshots, I was going to pass, but look how good that logo is too. I'm a sucker for logos.
Oh my gosh. I was going to bring that up too. It's so slick.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. So it's $1.99 right now. It's half price. So going back up, since sliders, it's $5, but this is Trombone Hero for the Playdate. Because I love rhythm games, I bought it, and it only works with the accelerometer right now. It's in early access. Normally, I wouldn't mention it. It's very hard to play, but they are working on getting crank controls going. I cannot wait for that because it is pretty difficult. But anyway.
Oh my gosh, they've got a pretty amazing list of songs on here already. Yes. 99 Red Balloons, Africa, Bad Romance, Beat It, Creep. Oh my gosh, this is like made for Gen X. Nice work, whoever this is. Aricus.
Someone
right?
Put Nick down. Yes. This is Ericus or something. Anyway, looking forward to keeping eyes on this one. And when it goes into regular access or when they add crank controls, I will bring it up again on the show.
Sweet. Thank you, Don, for keeping us appraised.
Are these I'll hold that comment. Okay.
Okay.
Nick woke up. Good to have you back, Nick.
It's early access, Nick. We'll talk about it on another episode.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Crabland is, what are these called, Nick? Panel Dipon?
Match 3 game.
Crabs?
They're crabs, but it's not really a match 3. I think it's a Panel Dipon game. But it moves upwards instead of downwards.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes,
Sort
land,
of.
Nick.
I think so. Yeah,
You
yeah,
rotate you rotate 4 items to make matches.
yes.
Nicholas
Okay.
Baldridge, are you seeing these gifs? It looks like you've got some Magic Squares action happening here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
definitely. Where's
another
16?
bingo fan. Okay. Nick, you got to try this one out. It looks really slick. I have not tried it, but this is from Pavlico for $1.99. Crabland, another great matching puzzle game. Okay, then next up is number 7 from Two Hand Slab.
Is this the 7th game we've talked about?
Is it? Synergy.
That
I
would-
like that.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
This is
Probably
a
not,
delightful,
though.
free, and captivating brain puzzle. I have not played this one. Looks really fun though, and it looks pretty polished. It is a reimagined lines game. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I don't know. I'll give it a shot. Too many games this week. I downloaded, haven't played. Eclipse is the next one.
Are you familiar with the classic Lines game?
I recognize the title, but do you want me to Google it on there? And then
It's probably
am
like
not
Sheep
familiar with
Launcher. If I know
it's
anything
just like
about it.
Launcher. And then edit this out.
Okay.
It
I
looks
am
like
talking, so
what's that Dyna
probably
game
safe
you
to say.
play? We played a couple weeks ago. Dynamate.
Dynamite.
Oh, this is that game where you draw boxes. Like I draw a line, then you draw a line, and then whoever makes a box, you put your initial in. Yeah.
Oh,
that's Lines.
Well, okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that game.
Okay.
When we're out and about.
Yeah.
Lines.
Do you like that game because you draw, Ryan?
It's a drawing game, Ryan.
I suppose there's
an art game.
There's mild drawing elements to it. Sure.
Speaking of mild drawing elements, Eclipse Samurai Showdown by Bertrand Ertrol. Man, I wish I was better at that. Name your price. One hit certain kill. It's a single hit based fighting game for the Playdate. Simple mechanics, timing, and footwork. Looks really slick. Looks really cool. Vector Man vibes. Samurai Vector Man.
Yeah. Did you ever? Oh gosh.
Nilhogg?
Yeah. Samurai Showdown.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that game?
Love that game.
Yeah. There need to be more of those, so I'm excited to try this one.
Was it Nidhogg or Nilhogg? Nilbog?
Nidhogg. Yeah, Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's Nidhogg, I think, is the one you're thinking of.
Cool. We have like 30 more to go. Let's go. Let's see here.
Okay.
Funny Racer by Funny Pasta. It is exactly what it sounds like. Top-down racer. Use the crank. I have played this one.
Ooh.
I had a real tough time controlling it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It uses the crank, huh?
It uses the crank.
Interesting.
I'm awful at it, but it has iconic cars, iconic tracks. There's a lot of content here.
It looks like RC Pro-Am using super sprint cars.
Yeah. Or I played a modern like F-Zero from above take on that kind of formula. It kind of reminds me of a mixture of the two. Looks great. Very smooth in the GIFs.
Totally.
So whoever made the GIFs is much better than I am. You see the cotton balls on the edges there? Those are trees, and I'm usually driving around those.
Spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah.
Huh, you like a scenic drive. That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of off-roading.
Okay.
Tons of content, and there's a demo. So
I have a question about this too, but I will withhold it.
What's with all the withholding?
I'll tell you later.
The tail is off there too.
Do you have an obscene car question, Nick?
No, it's not obscene.
It does not have the Tesla truck in it, Nick. I'm sorry.
That was not going to be my question. Okay.
Still withholding.
$3 on itch.
Yes.
Okay. The Legend of Chuck. This is a Nick. The only reason this is here is it's a Nick looking game. I mean, it looks cool. It definitely looks
The
cool.
only reason it's here.
Oh, well, it looks cool, but if I was going to cut something, this is not a Dawn game, and I'm the one making the list. So, I mean, this definitely appeals to probably a lot of people, but I'm just not one of them. But it's an RPG looking game. Nick, are you looking at it?
Yeah.
Are you able to look at it and talk about it? There you go.
I'm reading the summary at the moment, but it looks like from the GIF there's a lot of stats involved, and then you apparently pick something to fight, and
maximum damage.
It could be a poorly drawn devil, or a wacky bat, or
you haven't seen me try to draw a devil, so
I think Makila Usao would probably say these are rudimentary drawings. I think it's designed to look that way.
I think the art is sweet. If you scroll down and look at the dragon and the vampire, I would love a shirt with either one of those on them.
Totally. A very Trogdor-esque.
Yeah, they look sweet.
Yeah, it looks like the dungeon that you designed when you were in 3rd grade. It looks pretty amazing.
It's first person, but also third person, and you're wearing a baseball cap. So, if any of this sounds appealing, check it out. Oh, the dragon on the main title card does look like Trogdor.
It does. I'm really excited to try this out now that I scroll down and see this extra art here.
Ooh, you got it, Nick. You got it, Don.
Reminds me.
You nailed it.
A lot of an 80s PC game that I played a whole bunch of.
That's what I was hoping. I hope you're going to say, oh, this is just like Quest for Olympiad, or I don't know, some Nick game. All right. Anyway,
I can't remember the title, but yeah, cool.
Check that one out. It is Name Your Own Price. Pasta Cranker by the Smealy. It is a cranker, kind of like a clicker, but instead of clicking, you crank and make pasta. It is free.
Who are we helping to make this pasta? Is this pasta being sold off the backs of our?
No, you're helping children in an orphanage eat well. So anyway, give that one a try. It's a work in progress.
What if they're allergic to wheat?
There's gluten-free options.
Hey, speaking of pricing, did we mention that The Legend of Chuck, that very, very Nick game, is a name your own price game?
Yes, we did at the end of the Legend of Chuck segment. Yes.
Gosharoo. Okay, I'll listen, maybe.
We are recording right now. Yes.
Pasta Cranker is free and looks like a lot of fun. If you enjoy cranking and pasta, crank it up.
Give it a go. Crank on. This next one, Cardinal by Jex. This is a plea for someone to teach me how to play this. I gave this a shot and I don't understand it. You have to make pairs, or you have to like line up numbers that add up to 18. And I was doing it, but the 18s weren't going away. The pairs were, but the 18s weren't. So if someone knows what I'm doing wrong, please reach out. Anyway, Name Your Own Price. It's a matching game. Are
the numbers just 1 through 9?
Yes.
Is the only way to make 18 9 and 9, or is
no? No, if there's a 3, a 6, and a 9, that should also make 18. Is my understanding.
You can stack all 3 of those.
They don't really stack. They disappear. Like the board is flat, and then you can choose to add a column on the right if you need more numbers. So all these blank spots are pairs that they matched, or whatever. Those are numbers they matched.
Well, yeah, in hard contrast to Cardinal, we have Stone Slot. Are you ready to go on to the next one?
Thank you. Yeah, this one is a audio podcast.
Right. This is a very simple game where you are trying to avoid some stones dropping from the top. It says it's a tiny D-make of Raindrop Sprinters by Room 909 for the Playdate, made in a day to learn the Playdates SDK. So pretty understandable from looking at the GIF. Looks interesting. Don, have you tried this?
Yeah, this is one that I thought looked bad and wasn't going to talk about, but the comments kind of won me over. And then I played it and it was really fun. So I highly recommend trying Stone Slot. It was really satisfying. You just run to a door and dodge stones over and over and over and see how many times you can do it in a row, and that's your score.
So, developer Ocean Uwu, there's a quote for your itch page. Don thought this would
This
look
game looks
awful,
like
and now
ass,
he's
yeah.
mentioning it.
This game is very fun. I highly recommend paying money to play it.
And it
giving
is a name
5
your own
stars.
price game, so you can do what you will with that.
The music is satisfying too.
Wow.
Don,
Yes.
let me ask you.
Yes.
Are you going to sail or fail?
Why not both?
Okay.
Sail and fail.
Probably mostly fail. I like a novel approach. Their games are usually real weird but fun, and this is a new one, so I wanted to mention it. I have not played it yet. It's $2. It's a pirate game. You avoid sharks, and at some point there's fencing and sword fighting. So this looks like a novel approach's most ambitious game to date. But I have not played it yet. Nick, have you played this?
I have not.
Ryan?
Cool, though.
Not
I
yet.
haven't played this. I was
Okay.
busy playing Game of the Week this week and another game that I'm holding off on mentioning until the end of the podcast. I was real into we'll get to it later. But next up, we have our catalog picks of the week, right?
Yeah, let's talk about these real quick. Space Master. This is a horizontal shooter with roguelike elements. Had not heard of this one. It's $3. Made by Snask. Looks pretty slick.
You said the R word. Nick's ready for it.
The
Roguelike?
horizontal shooter?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not horizontal shooter.
Rorizontal.
Roguelike.
Yeah, I love a good horizontal space shooter. So exciting.
All right. And next we've got Detective Face. It says in this game, detectives face off detecting faces to detect which detective is best. So looking for faces in this one, it appears. It's a puzzle game, and it's $8 on catalog. Available now.
It's like Guess Who?
Yeah, we've mentioned it before. It's been on itch. Yep. And then Orbo by Therme.io. It's looks like asteroids, but you don't move from the center. Looks real chaotic. I might try this one out. Look at those 3D crates too. Very slick.
Is it just me, or does that title card at the top look very AI generated?
That's okay, Ryan. Not everyone's a natural talented artist like yourself.
That's true, but not everybody has to steal other artists' art.
That's okay.
Is it though?
Yes.
Are we going to get into this right now?
We're going to have argument every episode, Ryan. Next up, Pocket Math. Someone stole Archimedes' formulas and created this game called Pocket Math. It's $3. You add stuff, and it's a game. It has multiplayer. I have not tried it. A lot of math games on the Playdate too. I guess it appeals
People
to
like
math
numbers,
fans.
Son.
Yes. All you mathletes, check it out. Pocket Math. And finally, Poco's Maze. People have been wanting family games. This is a game for children. $5. Poco wants to go out and play. The world keeps getting in their way. It's some kind of maze game. It looks like adventure a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But in the
looks very similar to adventure.
Yeah. It looks neat, but and honestly, the kid thing kind of made me shy off a little bit. But if I hear good things, I'm back in. And all proceeds are donated to a nonprofit that rescues and cares for Brooklyn's outdoor cat population. Love a nonprofit donation game. So check that one out. And we're done.
Definitely.
All right.
Hey, before we move on, we've been remiss, I think, in something. And we usually do this on kind of a one at a time kind of deal, but I thought it would be good to say congratulations to all the devs for releasing all these games. Thanks very much.
Good call, Nick.
Congrats, devs. Congrats, Catalog and Panic also for having over 130 games now.
Yeah, it's a lot of games, but you're right. It takes a lot of work, and with only 70,000 units out there, that is not a huge pool of people compared to tens of millions of other consoles. So labor of love. Good call. And labor of love for Panic too, to support all this. Ryan, you're on the ball too.
All right. Well, I think we are up to our pick of the week, which means you get another boobity boop boop to bring you into this next segment. And today is a Ryan pick of the week with a title that I looked up the pronunciation of. It is Medial. So Medial is billed as Sudoku meets Minesweeper. If I'm being real honest, after playing this game, it felt a lot more Sudoku than Minesweeper to me. But essentially, you've got this 5x5 matrix that you are trying to populate with 3 types of shapes. You've got a black circle, you've got a white hexagon, and you've got a gray triangle. Now, just like Sudoku, these 3 elements can only occupy one position, both vertically and horizontally. So you can't have 2 black circles in a row, or you can't have 2 white hexagons in a column. So you've got to evenly distribute them, but make these puzzles work, right? So there's a few interesting elements in here. One, you've got, unlike Sudoku, you have these squares that will tell you a number of elements that surround it. But unlike Minesweeper, it's not 8 around that number that's mentioned. You can max out at 4 because it only tells you what's in the cardinal directions, north, south, east, west, of what's around that particular square. So that's one element that's different. Another element that's different is that you've got these little tabs either down at the bottom or along the right-hand side that let you know a shape. Now, this particular shape tells you, hey, buddy, or ma'am, or sir, or person playing this game, this shape that's listed in this tab is in between the other 2 shapes in this row. Now, that could be directly next to or a space or 2 away from those other shapes, but it's in between the other 2 shapes in that row or column of 5 squares. So this is very firmly in the puzzle category. And I have feelings and thoughts about this game that I chose, which really evolved over time, I must say. But before I listen to myself talk any more than I already have, I'd like to turn it over to you guys. So, Nicholas P. Baldridge, let's hear your thoughts about Medial to start us off.
Well, it is exactly as Ryan described. It's a
John,
game
how about
for the
you? What did
Playdate.
you think of? No, it's just, sorry.
I binged my time with this game in essentially one day's worth of play. I felt that in that time I had been able to experience all the enjoyment that I could wring from the game. So I do have some thoughts about ways that certain aspects of it could be streamlined. But before I get into that, some really fun things I thought, some tweaks on this formula were that everything was relatively constrained. You have a maximum, I think, of is it 15 pieces on the hardest setting that you're attempting to set on the grid, which I thought was a nice manageable number. And the indicator in the upper right, the huge sun, is very helpful in helping you determine, for the most part, where you've made at least a legal move. Whether or not it's the correct move is another matter. But yeah, those. So I enjoyed those aspects. The graphics are clear. I don't remember the music. I'm not sure if I had the volume up.
Yeah, it does have some music, and I thought it was pretty appropriate for a thought-intensive puzzle game. It wasn't it wasn't the Jeopardy theme song, but it was, like sort of along those lines, that it was a little repetitive, a little drony, but appropriately so for
that's what
something
you
you're trying to
kinda
do a
want.
lot of figuring for.
Yeah. Is it a single track, or are there different tracks that it kind of rotates through? Or
If my faulty memory serves me, I think it was just a single track. I don't remember different tracks happening.
okay,
Don, what did you think?
yeah.
Oh, I'm
Go,
sorry.
go
Were
ahead,
you still
Nick.
going, Nick?
Nick's still going.
No. All good. What's up, Don?
I don't recall the music either. Played this when it first came out on itch, but I started over. I bought it on catalog for this episode and started fresh. I played most of it in a long session last weekend, over a couple hours, but chipped away here and there on different nights. Yeah, I mean, I already knew I liked this game because I played it before, but I did like the mix of Minesweeper and Sudoku, but it kind of felt more like Picross than anything at first.
Yeah.
The way
Is
the
that
grid
like Sheep
works,
Launcher?
it's just like Sheep Launcher. Because of the tabs on the side, the tabs really give it the Sudoku feel. Like, oh, there's a certain thing that goes in a certain spot. And without that hint, like the hint is the big Picross feel. Um, the Minesweeper thing, I forgot about. Like I saw a 3 and a 4 on a stage, and I was like, "What are these numbers?" I couldn't remember it until I remembered. Oh, this description is Minesweeper. So then that keyed me in. Kind of the elephant in the room is that a lot of people were frustrated that some puzzles have more than one solution that are correct. And the first time I ran into that, it was annoying because I was like, "Well, what did I do wrong?" And the answer is I didn't do anything wrong. I did it correctly. But then the more I thought about it, it's like, well, the game says every level has only one solution. That's one of the bullet points. And so it was like an additional puzzle where, okay, what's the other solution? There's more than one solution to this puzzle. So then it wasn't just, oh, it's not accepting my solution. It's okay, what's another way to look at this? So then it just didn't bother me. It's just, okay, well, there's another way to do this. Which is fine because I think that showed up pretty early, right? It was like level
Yes.
4 or 5
Yes.
or something.
Yeah, it was level 5 in the tutorial that it first reared its pretty head, but
Okay.
yeah. Let's I'll let you keep talking, Don.
And then there was one time where I think it was a hard level where I was like, oh, I did it again. And so I was like looking at it, and then I realized, oh, I didn't have one of the pieces in the middle. It was perfect except for that. So if it wasn't for that hint, it would have been perfect. And it was just like, oh, I didn't comply with the hint. And so I mean, that was my fault. But again, it only happened to me maybe 3 times or 4 times maybe. But then I was like, oh, there's just another solution. So just kind of rolled off of it. And I played Playdate Stevens games before. They all have the same kind of graphical style, which I kind of like because it's distinct to him. It's like when you play a Platinum Games game, it's like, oh, I know this is a Platinum Games game because it has that feel. I kind of appreciate that he uses the same graphical style and whatnot. And I know the quality and the type of gameplay I'm going to get. So I felt comfortable going in. So anyway, all right. I've said my piece.
Okay, since we're into the feelings portion of the game, Don, you're a better person than I am because when I ran across that whole multiple possibilities of solving a problem and not allowing me to solve it when I actually solved it, I was really frustrated at that, if I'm being honest. And that experience, that early experience in this game, soured me on this game for quite a while because I had that bad taste in my mouth. And then every puzzle after that, I was like, well, I'm solving this, right? But then, like you said, there were particular stipulations that I was not meeting. And they were usually that tab on the bottom or the side where I didn't have the particular piece in the middle. And it took me going back through the tutorial to relearn that, to remind myself, oh, okay, you need to have a particular piece in the middle of the others. So after I did that and then came back through and played again, I actually started like, you know, calming my nerves a little bit and like enjoying the game more. But I really must say that that first number 5 tutorial really turned me off of the game for a while. I played this game real early after our last episode, and I had a really hard time picking it back up again after running into that. I just thought, well, I'm getting the feeling that every puzzle I'm going to complete, but then it's not going to allow me to move on. It just made me really frustrated for a while, but I eventually got over myself and picked it up again and actually started making my way through levels and feeling that sense of accomplishment as you solve these puzzles. And there were a number of times where I ran into roadblocks and like undid a few moves and tried again and rinse and repeat and eventually solve them. And it really does have a sense of accomplishment about it. And you mentioned the one elephant in the room, which was the fact that you can have multiple solutions, but it only allows you one. The other thing that we haven't mentioned here is that this game is a $2 catalog game. This is a lot of game for $2. So while I had, while I was feeling some feelings about this game early on, as I mentioned in the beginning of this description, my feelings really changed and evolved and softened and are more positive now after 2 weeks of gameplay than after my first day or two of gameplay. So with that said, Nick, what are your feeling about this game?
Yeah, I think if I was able to sit with it for a little longer, I might have a different impression, but the multiple solutions for a single puzzle and seemingly multiple correct solutions, I ran into that a couple times in hard mode, and that really, really bothered me to the point where just playing the game was an act of frustration for me because I couldn't seem to figure out what I was doing wrong. And I'm a person that really enjoys, point and click adventure games made in the 80s, which are renowned for huge leaps of logic that you have to make. You have to think exactly like the developer in order to complete those games. They're very challenging. This gives me similar vibes, but not in the that was a rewarding solution to the puzzle kind of way, and more in a this is intensely frustrating because there are multiple solutions. Now, one thing that you've mentioned, which I don't think I understood, was the way that those shapes appear and that they indicate the central tile on that row or column. Without understanding that, I feel like I didn't understand anything about the game. So I have a feeling
that's vital, dude.
There are portions where that is essential to understanding the puzzle. Right. And I'm wondering if maybe you did not have as many multiple solutions as you thought.
As I think. I have a feeling I had zero.
There were times
because of that.
I thought that too, and then I really started parsing together, okay, this one has to be in the middle because of this tab on the side, and then I realized, okay, the error is actually mine, not the game's.
And I didn't run into the multiple solutions thing until I was just somewhere in medium or hard mode. So I didn't hit that intense, friction point early in the tutorial, so perhaps I was overly confident, because I did see some chatter about that, and it didn't cause a problem for me for whatever reason, even
That's
without
shocking.
knowing.
That's shocking.
I know. So I just happened to pick the tile placement, I think, that was correct the first time. But anyway, I didn't have that experience with every puzzle, but I had that experience a lot. So one of the features that I enjoyed about this game, I kind of wanted to see how many different puzzles there were in the main mode. And so I utilized that skip function which is in the menu quite a bit to see how far it extended. So there are 100 puzzles in hard mode, and then medium and easy each contain 10, and the tutorial is 5 puzzles. So there's quite a bit of game for $2 in here. Even if you don't read the tutorial, apparently, which I guess I messed that up. But I am curious what the common link is here, because Ryan had a very similar experience with that specific tutorial portion. So
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a
the
wording
common
thing
link,
or just we're both bad at understanding.
Yeah, I think the common link must have been that we both sort of breezed past that whole tab rule that shows you what piece is going to be in the middle. Or maybe it was just too many rules to fit in my tiny little brain. I don't know. But I had to really go back and review it before I understood that very important rule. So if I could tell newcomers to Medial 2 things, I would say, 1, don't skip past that tab rule. Like, really intake that, because it's so gosh darn important. And 2, don't get frustrated if level 5 is solved but not solved. And finally, I have a thought for the developer. There's so each square you can put one of those 3 shapes, but you can also put an X or an asterisk if you're trying to, tell yourself that, oh, there's no shape here, or maybe there's a shape here. What I wish there was also is, like, there were many times where I would be able to figure out, okay, a white hexagon goes in one of these 2 spots in this row, and I wish I could mark it with like a ghost hexagon in those 2 places, just to keep that in my mind, because a lot of times I wouldn't be able to put it in either place because I wasn't sure, and I'd go on to figure something else out. But I would love to be able to keep that in my brain, keep that on the screen, and tell myself, oh, okay, here's some ghost images. Remember, you figured at least that much out already. So, I'm making complaints about a $2 game. I understand that, but if there were any functionality to add, that would be the one I wish would be added.
Did Don, I'm curious, did you use any of the marking abilities?
Yeah, I use the markings a lot. And to Ryan's point, I think the reason why there's just one option for marking, oh, I know there's a piece here, is because it's almost always going to be one of 2 pieces. So it's going to be a white hexagon, but it's either going to be that or a black circle, let's say. There's really no cases where it's going to be all 3. So giving the option of making even one, it's just going to be that or the other one. So at a certain point, it becomes too many things. I see what you're saying. And if the grid was bigger, then definitely. If it was even one line bigger, then definitely I would say it's necessary for the feature that you're saying. Also, I wanted to mention, I went back and played this like 2 or 3 months ago on my old save, because I play old games to see, oh, maybe I want to do this for my game of the week. And jumping in the middle, I had no idea what the tabs meant. And I was like, what the hell is this? And so I had to go back to the tutorial and figure out what it was, because I had no idea what the tabs meant. And so devs, especially for catalog, but really any dev, put some instructions either on the pause screen or on the catalog page, like somewhere. I mean, thank goodness there's a tutorial. Like, that's really great. This has a tutorial. A lot of games don't, but I will always go straight to the catalog page if I do not understand something. And some of them have a link to a book, like Yo-Yozo did, which is really nice. But a lot of them just don't have anything. This doesn't have anything. I don't remember if the itch page did, but luckily we were able to go back to the tutorial.
So, Stephen Allen, I think what we're saying is, in that tutorial, you need to have the instruction on the tabs at least 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Just say the same thing to us over and over again.
Just have it on the pause screen. I just paused it. I just booted the game and paused it, and it just brings up the Playdate menu. But if it like swept over and then had more features. There's some game I've been playing. Oh, it's Shift 2. I've been playing a lot of Shift 2, and when you pause it, it brings up all the symbols. Because Shift 2 has a lot more symbols than the old game. And so, I don't remember if this one goes up or down. I'll just pause it. Oh, I can see all the symbols. It goes up, then I just unpause. Takes 1 second.
Really I can even see some like unused blank space in like the lower right quadrant of the screen of Medial, where there could potentially be like a little instructional, hey, tabs do this type of thing. Almost like, I think you mentioned this, Dynamate, how there's that little key in the bottom right-hand corner of Dynamate. There's room there. I know Stephen Allen's probably trying to keep this screen relatively clean, but I don't know. I'm just trying to brainstorm some help for other old men who can't remember the tabs rule. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the main takeaway is that Ryan and I can't read. It's a real impediment to our
we've all had
to enjoy games.
We've all, and I hope that younger people have had this problem too, where you go back to a game you haven't played in a couple of months, and you're like, "What do I do now?" The first game I had that with was an Arkham game, and I turned it on. And I was like, "I have no idea what I'm doing now." It's because you have to hold two buttons and push this, and if that's a limitation, not only of a controller with 12 buttons, but also of a controller with 3 buttons, you have to do multiple things with the buttons that it has. And Playdate games are going to run into this a lot. Anyway, a real easy solution is just have the information out there.
Or read the instructions, one of the two.
But
we also have...
But you can't remember the instructions 2 months down the road. Anyway, but we only got a couple of minutes left.
Can't remember the instructions down the road 2 months.
1 week.
That's not the developer's problem.
Well, the developer wants a good experience for the player.
Anyway, all right. Thoughts from our listeners. Listeners, thank you so much for listening, first of all, and then also thoughting to us. Jason Act chimes in and says, I love Sudoku, and I played Minesweeper back in my Windows 95 days, so this game is right up my alley. I just bought it and have played through the tutorial and first few easy levels. I love the concept, and most levels are great, but a few levels seem to have a guess the right symbol point after all clues have been accounted for. In at least one level, the smiley face gets angry when I make a clearly correct placement, and a happy face when I've made a clearly illegal move. There is only one symbol left to place. Has anyone else come across that? So I feel like we sort of touched on that with the potential of not reading the tabs right, because it seemed like that solved most of my frustrations. Thoughts from you guys?
No, I think we covered that.
Okay. Who's reading Gamma?
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Okay. Gamma Goat, Ian Harrower Games says, I played through a bunch of this last night passively while watching the Grammys. I enjoyed it. For me, the deductions seemed pretty straightforward until hard, and I didn't find it super engaging, but it was needed to get me familiar with the mechanics and what things I could reason. I don't know how I would have liked hard without doing the others first. Hard is fun. The reasoning I need to do is complicated enough I need to look for it, and I get a satisfaction of discovery, an aha moment, repeatedly on each puzzle. At the same time, it always seems fair. I haven't gotten blocked for any long time, and I've always been able to reason it out.
I think the takeaway here is that Ian Harrower Games is much smarter than any of us. Good job, Ian, figuring out all of those puzzles.
Well, he points out something nice, and Nick kind of alluded to it, is that there's a nice easy ramp to hard. There's 10 levels, 10 levels, and then 100.
Yeah.
And also, we didn't mention that there are thousands of randomly generated levels that you can pop into whenever you want. I just only played a couple of them, but there must be some sort of algorithm there.
If there's only one solution to each of those random levels, that's extremely impressive. Very cool.
And lastly, Dino, some thoughts on the game. This one had me stumped. The rules seem simple, nevertheless often find myself painted into a corner. It's common for the board to appear valid until trying to place the last piece. Yeah, we've kind of went over this. I often reset the levels in an attempt to take an entirely different route, and that's what I did. I heard a lot of you saying that you undid steps. I always just reset the puzzle. I feel as though that's me saying it, Don saying it. Back to Dino. I feel as though a piece of the puzzle solving logic hasn't clicked for me yet. I found it strange to be stuck so often. It seems like I need to solve that challenge, have a light bulb moment. My ineptitude is definitely not indicative of the game's quality. It's a tidy little puzzler. My only suggestion would be to make the rules accessible via an in-game menu or helpful reminders when your brain is operating slow. Yeah, so we're all kind of beating the same drum.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. $2 is great for a pocket puzzler.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a little reminders would go a long way.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey guys, thanks for playing this game along with me. I had fun giving it a go, getting frustrated, getting unfrustrated, and having some other folks to share in that with. So I think that brings us to our next pick of the week, the pick of next week's pick. Don.
The pick of next week is Sato Light by Lubu. It is a planet tower defense game, but don't let that scare you off. I don't like tower defense games, but this is a really fun one because you're orbiting a planet, so your towers are your defenses are constantly leaving the battlefield. It's really fun. It's really slick too, and it has a campaign that you can finish. It has an ending too. So yeah, give it a shot. It is, let's see, it's $5 on itch right now. It is not on catalog as of this moment. So
Cool.
check it
That
out.
sounds like a wildly different game from what I'm used to playing. So I look forward to it, Don. Good pick.
Cool.
Cool. I guess this is the time of the show where we get to talk about non-Playdate stuff, so I'm going to shoehorn this in real fast. I direct an event at Michigan State University called the Michigan State University Comics Forum. That just happened about a week ago, and we have some keynote speeches from creators and scholars. If you want to head over to comicsforum.msu.edu, you'll find our YouTube page linked there, and there's some really great talks. I also, in other news, wanted to mention this game that I couldn't stop playing this week that was not my pick of the week. I know you guys are big fans of the DS. Have either of you played the Wizard of Oz RPG on the DS?
No,
I've
but
always heard
been
about
curious.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. It's going for stupid money on eBay right now, but I found it for a steal in a local shop. So I picked it up, and oh boy, I am just over the moon with this game. The graphics are incredible. The music is great. It's just so engaging. It's like the RPG experience that I wanted. That I feel like I've missed for many years. It's, you start by making your way down the Yellow Brick Road, and which sounds like, oh, it's just a single path. That's not very fun. But these paths that you make your way down start forking, and then that sounds like, oh boy, it could get really labyrinthine. But then each fork allows you to like mark with a question mark or an exclamation point or an X or a circle to kind of remind yourself of where you've been. And on top of that, once you get to the wizard, then he gives you a new quest and the game really opens up. Anyway, I've been having so much fun with this. If anybody has played the Wizard of Oz RPG for the DS, I don't know. Let's make a thread so we can talk together, because I've been having so much fun with this game.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
I'm jealous.
I had to share. Yeah,
Enjoy.
I'll have to send you the cartridge once I'm done playing.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, I'm glad you found it. That's really cool. That's a hard one to snag.
Thanks. Yeah, I was really surprised when I found it for what I did. It was pretty neat. Oh,
Cool.
and by the way, I found a DS for $10. So that's why I've been able to play it.
Yeah, so I'm surprised you like started with such a cool game. It's not like you're going with like the classics on the DS or whatever.
Yeah, I once I got that $10 DSi XL, I started watching some YouTube videos about, best DS games,
Oh,
and saw that one mentioned. And so I wouldn't have even known to pick it up if I hadn't been doing a little deep diving. But anyway,
cool.
that's DS stuff. Thanks for
Always
tuning in,
room for
everybody.
DS stuff.
Yeah, right. Thanks for tuning
this,
in this week.
Does this influence, Ryan,
Mm,
your eventual Playdate game that you'll be making?
unlikely, but did you know that you can email us at helloplaydatepodcast@gmail.com?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, you can also find us on our website at playdatepodcast.com. And other things. Don, do you want to tell us about other things?
Yeah. We're on Instagram and Threads. Yeah. Anyway, Discord's the main place. Best place to get us is Discord. All of our socials are in our show notes. And people lately have been asking for links to all this stuff we talk about. It's in the show notes. Just we need to maybe mention the show notes at the top of the show. Lately, I've been getting a lot of emails. Hey, where's the link for this, and this? It's all, like 9 times out of 10 or more is in the show notes. So check them out.
10 times out of 10?
At like 9.9 times out of 10. Every once in a while, I'll forget one.
49
like
times
last
out
week,
of 50.
when I forgot Ryan's date, I got his date wrong.
Don
Anyway.
has amazing show notes, everybody.
I'll say.
And
Thanks.
yeah, everybody should check those out. Filling in for Don if he's ever absent gives me a lot of anxiety writing up the show notes. So just trying to live up to Don's standard, and it's a pale imitation, Don.
No,
whenever
you do
you're
great.
gone.
Thanks. Okay.
All right.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.